Check, check. All of you type your names in chat section, Anna. Only 5 members are attended. What happened to others? Okay, shall we start? Yeah. Today we are going to discuss about recording studio, sound recording studio, music production studio, audio recording studio, dubbing theater, the basically which is related to audio and sound recording and production, pre-production, post-production, how to make, how to construct that studio. What are the things we are using? What are the material we are using for construction of the studio, and how it would be constructed. Here we have I'll play one video. Along with that, I'll explain. Yeah, here one room is taken, one space is taken. According to given space, whether it is 10 by 10 or 20 by 30 or 60 by 100 in feet or meters length area. So in that we have to construct one studio. Here this is the construction site, the studio construction site, how they are constructing the studio. Actually, a bare room, empty space will be given to a sound engineer to construct the studio. How we have studio at our multimedia lab, like that we have to construct one studio. But to construct a studio, we must have one room, one completely built room. We need one room. Within the room, we are constructing a studio. This wooden panels, according to maybe in our studio, we have used 8 feet of height. We can use 9, 10 if our ceiling having 15, 20 feet, that means double height of ceiling, then we can use 15 feet also. But basically all rooms are having nearly 10 feet of height. So in our studio we have taken 8 feet of height, and that is also this wood panels. We have taken the wood panels. Within this we have we have taken some acoustic equipment, acoustic material, that is glass wool and rock wool. Glass wool and rock wool are the material to control the outside sound. So we have keeping the we have inserted some rock wool or glass wool in this wooden panels. First of all, we have to create this structure, this 2 by 2 structure. This is called because 2 feet height and 2 by 4 structure, 2 feet height and 4 feet height and 2 feet width. Why? Because the ready-made glass wool or rock wool material would be transported in 2 by 4 length. That means 2 feet width and 4 feet height. In that measurement, usually the rock wool and glass wool will be transported. So we are taking 2 by 4 panels for inserting that soundproof material. Yeah, here you can observe this becomes one room and other side becomes another room. Actually, this is the chamber. This is the glass chamber where we are having this will divide the control room and vocal booth. The control room, the person, the engineer in the control room, he can easily contact with, he can have easy eye contact with the vocal booth, so that the person who is singing or who is saying dubbing, so that person, the engineer can be easily identified through this glass. But this glass also soundproof glass. It is not a general glass what we are using in our houses or on whatever the schools and colleges, wherever general construction areas, we are using general glass. But in studios, we are using soundproof glass only. Yeah, these fellows, uh, before building the vocal booth is this one, and this is the instrument booth. In instrument booth, they can play live instruments, like not acoustic guitar, not electric guitar, normal guitar and drum sets, maybe tabla and flute, violin, like that things. For they are testing. They are first playing and testing because they need at the time of recording, we need some echo and reverb. Naturally, it has to be created in that room. So for testing that, they are already testing the vocals. They are already testing the sound in that area where actually sound system and the players will come and play the music. That area they are already testing. our studio also like that, same like this constructed in our studio also. Yeah, these are the acoustic panels, and these are the glass wool and rock wool material. Now it is a installation process, the rock wool installation process. What we created the skeleton, in that skeleton we are insulating the rock wool. Yeah, once installation process is finished, then there will be a next process called the paneling. This is the acoustic panels. These boards are different than plywood boards. These are already acoustic panels. These panels um, will be placed on top of rock wool or glass wool. Closing the ceiling area, and now painting everything. And now doing flooring work. Here this is the black material is called the soundproof membrane. Actually, for floorings, we must have to use this soundproof membrane. Afterwards, we can use on top of that, we can use this wooden panels. This soundproof membrane is used for controlling the impact sound. Uh, our shoes sound and our steps sound. So controlling those impact sounds, the soundproof membrane has to be compulsory used in studios. Now this is the acoustic glass. This is in between control room and vocal booth or instrument booth, whatever it may be. Maybe if instrument booth, vocal booth are different, so they have two or three soundproof windows also there. Now it is finished. Equipment has to be placed in the control room. Now already we have equipment, we have mixer, we have system, the workstation, and we have already DAW installed, and we have all preamps and uh, electrical conditioners and studio monitors and recorders. Everything it is placed here in the control room. This is the instrument chamber. Yeah, for recording. Yeah, this is the typical construction of a recording studio, audio production studio. And now comes to what are the basic equipment, basic things required in recording studio. See, we have 12 main things, and first one is studio rack mounts. All of you write these 12 things, ma. All of you take a book and write these 12 things. Studio rack mounts. Second one is power conditioners. Third one is microphone preamps. Fourth one is headphone amps. Fifth one is monitor management. Sixth one, MIDI controllers. Seventh, electrical drum kits. Eighth, control surfaces. Ninth one, software and plugins. Software includes plugins also. And 10th one, snake cables. 11th one, uninterruptible power supply. That is nothing but actually this is used for this is nothing but online UPS. We have in our computer labs this uninterruptible power suppliers. That is nothing but online UPS. And next last one is direct boxes. Write down all these 12 instruments. Now let us see studio rack mounts. What actually studio rack mounts are? Studio rack mounts, for what purpose we are using studio rack mounts? Studio rack mounts seems to be like this little box square type rectangle type made with of wood or stainless steel or aluminum or fiber also, sometimes fiber material also these days. But usually in studios they are using wooden and steel ones. because they are having more strength, and it is very capable of um, suppose if the equipment is very heavy also, these things are easily will handle. So wooden and steel ones are used in the studios. And what these things are doing actually, we have to, what are the equipment we are keeping in this studio rack mounts. For example, in our studio we have interface. Our interface is keeping somewhere in our CPU, but actually interface, amplifier, preamps, and power conditioners, and effects processors, everything should be managed in proper way, and everything should be inside this studio rack mounts, so that we can easily have access to all those equipment. And these, if everything is at one particular proper place, then supplying of power and controlling of those equipment would be very easy. So we must have to use studio rack mounts. అరే క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను, మళ్ళీ చేస్తాను. Yeah, see here, studio rack mount options. This one is a basic one, and this one is a portable. Suppose if our studio is a very small studio, then we can go for portable rack mount, and this is a premium. This one is very premium one. Only the studios which are bigger ones, they can only use these premium ones. Next thing, power conditioners. Power conditioners. What is actually power conditioner? Where we are using, why we are using these power conditioners? Actually, power conditioners are used to safeguard our studio equipment, because in our houses, in our offices, colleges, whatever, wherever the things, wherever we are, wherever we are using electricity, sometimes we have low voltage, sometimes we have high voltage, sometimes we have proper voltage, but there will be a voltage power supply fluctuation in everywhere. Mainly in India, we have we are suffering from this fluctuation throughout in India. Whereas if we are compared to other countries, USA, UK, and Europe, Australia, there will be actually very less fluctuation in power supply, because they are providing, they are transmitting, they are distributing quality of power supply. So we are having this problem. Whenever we are having suddenly power decreases or voltage increases, the equipment gets affected because of the fluctuation in power supply. So the all studio equipment is very expensive, and the projects what we are doing in studio are also very expensive. Suppose if a person doing a movie project, if a person doing a documentary or a short film project, or TV broadcast project, recording project, suddenly a power fluctuation comes and the project is collapsed, there will be a too much loss. For broadcasting, the studio has to deliver the project within the given time, and sometimes at the end of time the power fluctuation comes, then there will be no chance to recollect everything. If the hardware is broken because of power fluctuation, then there will be a no backup, backup the things what we have done before in controls, in music control surface. Projects would be saved in a system, but unfortunately if the high amount of voltage has been provided in our studio, then there will be a no chance to getting back to the original things. So at that time we must have to need these power conditioners. These power conditioners, for these power conditioners only, our whole equipment of the studio, will be connected to these power conditioners. By doing so that whenever the fluctuation happens in up and down in voltages, then this power conditioners controls the power. This power conditioners automatically, this circuit will give signals to the system, our computer, our workstation, or our control panel, our interface, whatever it may be, our monitors, studio monitors, whatever it may be. These power conditioners give signals, and these power conditioners controls and switch offs those equipments automatically. So by affecting our project, by losing our valuable expensive equipment in our studio, to prevent all these things, we must need these power conditioners. Next one, microphone preamps. These are the microphone preamps. Actually, yeah, number of companies are manufacturing these microphone preamps. These preamps are used to, because in our interface, you have seen our studio, in college studio, we have only 2 XLR inputs. That means 2 mic inputs. If we need 16 mics, 24 mics, 32 mics, like that, we must have some preamps like this, mic preamps. We must have to connect these mic preamps. With the help of mic preamps, we can increase our input and output levels of our microphones. Next one is headphone amps. Headphones amps are nothing but headphone amplifiers. Actually, by default, every interface having one headphone, one headphone for monitoring, engineer can monitor. Suppose in the control room, the music director and producer also will be there. These persons also wants to speak something to the artist, a singer, or the person who is doing dubbing as an artist, to speak them and to listen what are the things going. Actually, the person who is singing having some separator headphone that gives the signal of the track signal. So the director and other persons also wants to hear same thing in control room. They need headphone amplifiers because interface having only one preamp, one headphone amplifier in the interface. So by using this hardware, we can increase our headphones in multiple numbers. However, it is 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 16 like that, we can increase. Next one is monitor management. What is monitor management? Monitors are different. Monitor management is different. Actually, for our interfaces, we have some monitor output. Monitor output in the sense what we are recording, that the same thing has to be hear back. That means that voice, that music has to be hear back in our control room, so that we have monitor outputs. But what is monitor management equipment? Actually, this is used for again, this is used for, suppose if we need we are having monitor equipment in our control room only. Suppose if we want this monitoring in our lobby also, and suppose if we want to increase our monitors, usually we are having 2 channels, left to right, and most probably we are having 5.1 channels, and beyond that, if we need 7.1, 9.1, 11.4.4, 11.4.4, that means Atmos. So at that time we can use this monitor management hardware. Next one is Midi controllers. These are the Midi controllers. These these are not music keyboards, these are Midi keyboards, and this one also rhythm box, but Midi rhythm box, this one and this one. What happens? It should give the signal of Midi signal. It should not give the wave format signal. It gives the Midi signal. Our DAW is nothing but a digital audio workstation, that is a software. Whatever the software, whether it is Neondo, whether it is Pro Tools, whether it is Cubase, whatever it may be, the DAW takes this Midi signal and finally converts this MIDI signal into wave format and gives the output. So we need these MIDI controllers in our studio for producing the music. And next one, electric drum kits. These are the electric drum kits. Actually, Tamer and Jaws, these are the companies for general drum kits. For normal drum kits, we have to place the speaker, we have to place the mics for everywhere. This one here and here and this here, everywhere we have to place the mics. But what happens in electrical drum kits, already it is inbuilt the mics and all the things inbuilt, and only cable will runs over from the electrical drum kit. So it is easy to sometimes the electrical drum kit also comes in a MIDI format, and sometimes it is comes in a XLR format, and these cables are directly connected to our control surface, so that we can easily record the drums. Next one is the most important thing in audio recording studio, sound engineering studio, is control surface. These are the control surfaces. Control surface or mixer and a control surface having little bit of difference, but these mainly these days we are using control surfaces. What control surfaces will do in our studio? Actually, control surfaces takes the signal of our DAW, a digital audio workstation signal, and it acts like the mirror hardware of our DAW. Whatever the things we are doing in our DAW, same things will be we can do through our control surface without using our mouse, keyboard and all the things. We can directly using these channels, and here we have some controls on the control surface. Using that one, that is more accurate and more reliable. So every studio should have these control surfaces, and we have so many companies and so many options in control surfaces. Today we are just whatever the things requiring for our recording studio, those things only we are seeing. In further classes we will discuss deeply in one by one. Next one, software and plugins. Software is nothing but DAW, digital audio workstation. Okay, and softwares also having so many companies. There is Fruity Loops, Neondo, Soundforge, and Pro Tools. Finally, we have Pro Tools and Fairlight. These days, Fairlight also using. Fairlight is used not using in India. Actually, Fairlight is used in Europe and Hollywood. This is very much useful for creating Dolby Atmos and Auro 3D sound systems. So these softwares are having plugins also. That means whenever we are recording in a closed room. That means 8 Titan and soundproof rooms we are recording. So we are losing some naturality in the voices. So recollect all these things. So we are using some plugins like delay, reverb, echo, and vocal sweetener, and pitch shifter, and limiter, noise gate. Like that, we have so many plugins are there. By using these plugins in accurate amount, the giving accurate amount of thresholds, finally we'll get a nice audio output. Next one is snake cables. Yeah, these are called snake cables. Where we are using these snake cables. Actually, we have 10, 20 number of inputs and outputs. For that, we have to take 10, 20 inputs, cables, and single cables, and maybe according to our studio area, according to that we have to take 20 meter or 15 meter, 10 meter cables, and these cables, if we connect all these cables at once, it seems to be clumsy. So to avoiding that, these snake cables are introduced. Actually, snake cables are having 10 or 20 or 24 or 36 inputs and outputs, and these all cables running through a single cable. So there will be no mess up in the studio. Seems to be a single cable, but these snake cables gives inputs of 10, 20 and outputs of 10, 20, whatever it may be. So um, how many outputs and inputs required the particular studio, based on that the studio persons will purchase these snake cables. Next one, uninterruptible power supplies. Yeah, uninterruptible power supplies is nothing but UPS, online UPS. Probably we can use in studios minimum 1 kV, 5 kV UPS. Actually 10 kV, if we use 10 kV UPS, then it is good for all equipment, for maintaining all equipment, because whenever there will be a sudden power off in the studio, then this uninterruptible power supply handles entire studio, including air condition, entire studio, up to 20 to 30 minutes. If we are keeping a more powerful UPS, more powerful supply, uninterruptible power supply, online UPS, then it will handle for an hour also. In between, if power comes, then our whole recording studio will run on normal power. Whenever it goes, it runs on UPS power. So there will be no interruption between the work, during the work. So we must have uninterruptible power supplies in our studio, in every studio. Next one is direct boxes. Yeah, these direct boxes are used for suppose if we have electric guitar, and if we have electrical violin, and if we have electric flute and saxophone, like that, those which are related to electrified, those things has to be connected. Suppose the saxophone, the person is not been able to play at control room, the control room is very small, the person has to play from outside. That means maybe in a vocal booth or instrument booth. So the person has to connect his musical instrument to this direct box. This direct box gives direct connection to our control room. So these direct boxes also having amplifiers to amplify that instrument, that particular playing instrument. So we require these direct boxes. So these are the things, basic things required in a studio, and we will discuss one by one very clearly in next classes, in further classes. So alternate days you are having class. Tomorrow you don't have class, and the day after tomorrow you will be having classes, because tomorrow having final years class, and like that you are having alternate days classes. And all of you prepare your notes for workflow of sound recording studio. Okay. Okay, ma. See you in the next class.